Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into the storyteller's secret, that one amazing tool that separates ideas that truly change the world from the ones that just fade away.
So let's start with this big question. It's something that every innovator, every leader, every creator thinks about. I mean, you can have the most brilliant idea, the most solid data, but if you can't make people care, it just doesn't matter. The secret isn't just in the idea. It's all in how you frame it. Look, data and facts, they're absolutely crucial. They give us the what. But a story? A story gives us the why. It's the huge difference between just a list of features on a product and a vision for a better world. The ideas that really stick, the ones that catch fire, are always wrapped in a story. And this is exactly why so many presentations, pitches, and ideas just fall flat. In his book, The Storyteller's Secret, the author and communication coach Carmine Gallo argues that the most successful communicators, from the boardroom to the TED stage, have all mastered the art of narrative. They don't just throw information at you. They craft an entire experience that actually moves people to act. So what is this secret? What's the magic sauce? Well, it all starts with a simple biological fact. Our brains aren't just open to stories, they're basically addicted to them. And this is not some new phenomenon. Get this. Anthropologists who were studying the Kalahari Bushmen found that after a long day focused on, surviving, a whopping 81% of their fireside conversations were just stories. It wasn't just for entertainment, it was the social glue. It's how they taught lessons, bonded, and passed on their culture. Storytelling is literally in our DNA.
And modern science totally backs this up. When you're listening to a really compelling story, your green activity actually syncs up with the storytellers. It's this wild phenomenon called neural coupling, and it releases chemicals like oxytocin. That's the trust hormone. It's why a good story makes us feel real empathy for a character and a deep connection with the speaker. It literally builds a bridge from one mind to another.
Okay, so knowing that stories work is one thing, but knowing what makes them work, that's a whole other level. And the first secret to a truly transformational story is kind of counterintuitive. It's not about perfection. It's about the struggle. Tony Robbins, who grew up in poverty, doesn't hide his past. He uses it as a core part of his message. Leaders from Sheryl Sandberg to Sylvester Stallone have all learned that sharing their failures, their hardships, that's what makes them human. It makes them relatable. We are just hardwired to love a good rags to riches story because somewhere in that journey, we see ourselves.
This is the blueprint for pretty much every great story you've ever loved, from Rocky to Star Wars. It's called the dramatic arc. It's simple. You set the scene, introduce a hero, then you throw a huge conflict at them that forces them to struggle, and finally, you show their transformation in the resolution. This structure doesn't just tell a story, it takes the audience on an emotional ride, making them care about the outcome.
And this reframes everything. Your past doesn't define your potential. How you interpret and tell the story of your past does. Great storytellers see their struggles not as some heavy baggage, but as the very thing that forged their strength, their unique perspective, and their mission.
All right, the second big secret to powerful storytelling is all about clarity. You can have the most dramatic, emotional story in the world, but if your audience can't follow it, well, you've lost them.
This is the mantra of leaders like Sir Richard Branson. He learned early on that he only had a few minutes on a payphone to convince advertisers to back him. He had to be incredibly concise. Famously, the business plan for Virgin Australia was sketched right on the back of a beer coaster. Brevity forces you to be clear. Or take Elon Musk. When he unveiled the revolutionary Tesla Powerwall, he could have buried everyone in technical jargon. Instead, he described the batteries we already had as stinky, ugly, and bad in every way. A linguistic analysis of that presentation found it was written at about a 6th grade level. By keeping it that simple, he made sure his world-changing vision was something that everyone could understand.
Another awesome tool for simplicity is the rule of 3. Our short-term memory is just way better at holding on to information in small chunks, and 3 seems to be the magic number. It creates a pattern, a rhythm that's really satisfying and easy to remember. Think about it. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Veni, vidi, vici.
It's a structure that just flat out works. So, we've learned that great stories embrace the struggle and they're delivered with this profound simplicity. Now, the big question is, how do you actually apply this to find your own authentic story?
It starts with this question, the very one Steve Jobs used to find his own driving force. He didn't just make computers. What made his heart sing was building tools to help people unleash their own creativity. You see, you can't inspire other people unless you are inspired yourself. Passion is the fuel for every great story.
So when you combine your unique struggles, simplify them for maximum impact, and then fuel it all with what makes your heart sing, that's it. That's the recipe for a truly transformative story. That's the story that will build your company, that will pitch your idea, and that will bring your dreams to life.
Because in the end, the stories we tell ourselves and we tell others, they literally shape our identity. They give our lives meaning and our work a real purpose. So the real question isn't whether you have a story to tell. You do. The real question is, if your life were a book and you were the author, how would you want the story to go?